Someone that you have to consider, banning. She provides them with so much survivability, and the movement speed is very nice. I think you need to see a little bit more aggression from mTw, and I think they got caught on their heels a little bit early. Weren't quite able to use their kill advantage that they had, and I think a lot of it comes down with the Shen ult. Yeah, so the Mundo band is there. I don't know. I think that they needed to probably focus bot a little bit more. I don't know, they didn't really use their ultimates anywhere. So we saw TF and we had Ashe, but we weren't really going in for kills anywhere. They were just kind of sitting back, and it was like they were scared of CLG from the get-go.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens in game number 2.
Well, a lot of their focus was top lane, just trying to shut down Renekton as much as we can.
Right.
But we're like, what you already pretty much one lane. You're pushing him at tower. You're keeping him there pretty consistently. You're doing a really good job of farming. Like, as far as I was concerned, like, top lane was pretty much won. Like, why there really wasn't a need to try and secure it any further. It should focus a little bit more on mid and elsewhere.
Yeah, so we have the Mundo ban, we have the Anivia ban. Again, Froggen's Anivia is just so strong late game, provides so much control. So those both make sense. Now we see, Karthus and Morgana. It makes a little more sense after seeing what they ran game 1, comparing these to game 2. And now Karthus and Morgana against those, frontline melee champs, they are very strong with the AoE and the control. But then Morgana also has that potential to, flash ult in onto the back line on someone like, Ziggs and Cog. Have a lot of AoE disruption, and now, with your AoE, you can win the fights. So that's definitely a smart pick. They ban out Nocturne once again, so... I'm sorry, no, this is a switch, so mTw banning Nocturne. They could pick up Kog'Maw if they like...
Soraka is open. There she is. Yeah, Soraka, we took out the Soraka ban and replaced it with the Mundo ban. And mTw, they really wanted to grab Soraka. They wanted to make sure, they can have her for bot, right? Or we could even see her mid. We don't know yet. It's only the first ban. We could see something crazy.
Yeah.
Never out of the question. Never out of the question.
Right. And the thing with the Soraka pick, I don't know if their support is just, really like Soraka, but Soraka works very well with a lot of tanky teams, and very quickly you can become unkillable. We saw, they were kind of hesitant on that Jax. Maybe they want to send Jax top, and they picked Lee Sin. But if they do want to send Jax top, Jax and Soraka is actually, just such a strong combo. We saw M5 run it yesterday, or, was it 2 days ago? I think it was yesterday. When you have the Jax, he's going to be...
Yeah, Jax Lee Sin yesterday.
Right, Jax is just going to have so much damage output and become just a super tank as the game progresses. Soraka makes him unkillable very quickly, so that might be the route that they're going. Otherwise, Soraka versus, like, a Janna pick, Soraka gives you that sustain in lane, so you can exchange harass a little bit more easily. We do see the Graves pick instead of like a Kog'Maw, so Graves and Shen. So they will have Shen for that top lane. Most likely, it could be in the jungle as well.
Unless, if they do a good enough job of counter picking him and forcing him into the jungle, we could also see that.
But regardless, Graves is definitely very strong in that bottom lane. Has a lot of AoE burst and whatnot. And then picking up in Ahri, so Ahri's definitely really strong, and that is one of the champions that Froggen likes to play as well, so it denies that pick from Froggen.
So if we get the Alistar pick here, I think it's safe to say that we're going to be seeing Alistar jungle. Pretty powerful very recently. He's tanky enough, he can go ahead and just go right from behind your tower, headbutt you into the middle away and pulverize and kill you. The ultimate of his makes him so tanky as well. Once he hits 6, gigs get ridiculously strong. Just like I said, flash over a wall, you're dead.
And the thing I love about Alistar jungle is not only is he so aggressive early on, but it is also the reason why Alistar was a good roaming support, and it's that he doesn't need a lot of gold. You get some quick gold pretend, you're perfectly fine. Late game, he's going to be tanky regardless with his ultimate. He's going to provide a lot of AoE disruption, and so that AoE disruption works very well with Ahri, who sits around the back line. They have a lot of pick-off potential to get Ahri kills, but Ahri is going to be very safe because she has this frontline Alistar who's going to be, soaking up damage and having that CC. We have a Graves Leona lane, though, and Graves Leona is one of the most aggressive kill lanes bottom. Graves, obviously, his abilities do proc Leona's passive, so, they have a lot of pushing capabilities if they want to throw you into the tower, but when they have that burst, they can just combo for kills very easily, and that's one of the issues with Soraka, is that she's very vulnerable to, kill lanes. She has the heal, the armor is very nice against them. However, they have so much burst damage, if they get off to a good start, they can just chase down Soraka, combo the CC on her, and she's not going to be able to get out of there. Or even if they bait the heal onto Ezreal and then switch targets onto Soraka, but we do see that Jax pick, like we were saying, the Jax and Soraka combo. We'll see whether or not they can, get off to a good start top, whether Caress can just super carry Jax.
Yep. But we still have options available to us for CLG. I mean, we do have Shen, we do have Udyr. Waiting to see, their last pick so they can now swap accordingly. We saw what happened to Udyr yesterday. I don't know. I think we may want to stick with Shen top and have Udyr go into jungle.
Yeah, it's really tough, and that's kind of what is an issue with that first pick, Shen. And I think people are starting to realize, Shen is becoming a weaker and weaker pick. He's still a strong pick. He gives you, that split pushing capabilities and whatnot. But the issue with Shen is you need to be able to win your lane. And can Shen win a lane against Jax? It's tough to say. All right, so Shen early levels up until about level 5 has an easy advantage over Jax, and that's what you're going to want. You want to get off the fast advantage, harass him down with your Q spam, get off the taunt into the passive. He will be able to get some nice burst onto Jax. However, when they're 1v1 dueling, and when they're going all out, which is a lot of what Jax likes to do for kills, Jax definitely has the advantage. And starting around level 6, maybe even level 7, Jax has that kill threat where he can just chase down Shen and maybe force Wicked out of lane, which is going to be a concern. We do see Shen is going to be going in that top lane, so that's good.
Yep.
He does do well against Jax, but it's not going to be as much of an issue as the slow jungle because they have Snoopé on Udyr, so Udyr definitely a fast jungle. But the issue is that Jax lane, and if Udyr can get off some nice ganks top, all of a sudden Jax can be shut down by Shen. If Shen gets an early advantage, he can shut out Jax. However, if he doesn't, then all of a sudden Jax wins the lane as time goes on, can start free farming top, and the game might last a little longer than they hope, and we have super carry Jax again.
However, I do like this Orianna pick here from CLG because I think this is I feel Orianna does extremely well against teams that have a lot of mobility, like mTw has right now. We do have Jax, we do have Ahri, we do have Ezreal. They can, they can go ahead, they can shift around, they can jump, they can hold, they can go all wherever the hell. And Orianna, we have the AoE slow, we have the ultimate for displacement, which also synergizes very well with Leona's ultimate there. If we can get like a Leona, we have to get Leona ult perfectly timed on the team. Orianna can just go in, follow up, she can ult, and there's plenty of time for Graves and Udyr to do all the damage they need to, and everyone is in a nice little clump.
Well, that is what they're looking to do, is have those combo ultimates. They have huge AoE damage. The Soraka does counter out that AoE a little bit, but not as significantly as they would like. So they have a nice mix of magic and physical. So Graves, obviously all physical, but the rest of them are heavy magic. So it's going to be heavy magic. Leona does have some physical as well. But here's one of the nice things is Orianna, one of the issues with Orianna is her short range. And her attack range in lane, she has really good lane harass, which is nice. But the range on her Q, it was nerfed. They did buff it back up a little bit, but it's still a little bit difficult to initiate fights.
Right.
However, she can throw her orb onto either Shen or Leona, and then Shen or Leona will engage, and they initiate. The orb is already in place, and now all Orianna needs to do is throw off the ultimate. So it is a nice combo when you have a melee initiate to have that Orianna. So they can kind of burst people down. It really works as a counter to Jax, so Jax is going to be caught by that AoE. They have a lot of disables, and that's what you want against Jax. You have lots of disables, so you can try and focus him down in early fights. They have now another thing is AoE teams tend to be really aggressive at winning early, and you can tend to win early fights, snowball, and that's what you want to run against Jax. Jax, obviously he needs a little bit of build up. He will be very strong as the game progresses, and then late game Jax is going to be unstoppable, almost against this team. However, if they can win, those mid-game fights with their AoE, they can just quickly burst down mTw and take an advantage off of that. And they obviously, I think a lot of it's going to come down to the top lane, though, and that's part of the concern of Alistar. Alistar might want to focus top lane a little bit. There is a lot of kill potential mid as well.
Yeah.
CLG will have to watch out there because the Alistar, disables into the charm from Ahri is just so deadly.
Not to mention the fact, like you mentioned before, Orianna, her auto attack range, not the biggest, which could put her in a very dangerous situation. Ahri can just come around and like, oh, you come in for a last hit, charm, or ult, you're gone.
Her auto attack is actually okay. It's one of the longer caster range. The issue is her Q range, and in lane it makes Orianna very strong, but you're right that, when Orianna is trying to harass, it does put her past those minions and gives Ahri the chance to charm, which, is going to be a threat for her to deal with. Obviously, that mid-game mobility of Ahri is, going to be so aggressive, but they do have Shen. Shen can counter out those ganks from Ahri a little bit. He will have his ultimate to get in when Ahri tries to engage. The issue is, as always, Shen leaves the lane. Now, all of a sudden, we have more farming opportunity for Jax. And so if Shen is forced to leave the lane to accommodate for that Ahri aggression early, then that might give Caress some more farming time, some more pushing time, allow him to take over the game.
So, these are your lanes, too. So, Udyr in the jungle. Shen, we grabbed him early. We're not going to put him in the jungle. We're going to keep it with him top lane. We're going to stick him there. But we do have Jax. We've been seeing a lot of Jax lately. We will see how he performs up there. We have, again, quite a few exhausts. We got 2 exhausts on both teams, but we do have quite a few more. We have 1 more Ignite here on CLG. So we're trying to shut down a little bit of the healing. They are facing up against Soraka. Ahri, she does build quite a bit of spell vamp as well. Alistar can heal in team fights as well. So it's going to be an interesting match, man, and I'm just excited to see Orianna. Orianna is just not a champ you get to see very often, and I think she's going to be working very well against this team if she can get the proper farm, if she doesn't get denied mids. But like you said, we'll see, and we'll see if the Alistar ganks can make a huge difference here. But here we are in the game number 2.
Orianna will want to watch out against Ahri because Ahri, does counter her decently.
Yeah.
The mobility that Ahri has, and Ezreal as well, they can dodge a lot of Orianna's abilities. And so, particularly in the mid lane, the biggest counter to Orianna is if you actually get in between her and the ball. And so, if, Ahri obviously has that potential, she can just use her ultimate to shift around. If you get in between Orianna and the ball, then all of a sudden she can't use her abilities. And she's like, well, this is kind of awkward. Now I don't have my damage output. I don't have my disables. Ahri will easily win that matchup, and that's going to be difficult for Froggen. Then you also have to consider bot lane. Ezreal and Soraka is such a strong harass combo. They're going to constantly be spamming. Leona is very vulnerable to harass, so a lot of it will be due to bush control. But if Ezreal gets off any early harass onto Leona, now all of a sudden Leona's at half health maybe. She can't go in for that kill combo because she's really close to dying. She's like, oh, if I go in, I'm going to die. All of a sudden that complete bot lane is ruined. And so that's one of the nice things about that Ezreal pick. And the Arcane Shift from Ezreal obviously is going to be very nice to avoid that aggression. But we do see CLG came in, they dropped the ward over by the race. And the big thing there is you want to get up early ward coverage for Alistar. They can, keep vision of him, know where he is at any point in time. If he shows up there at the race, usually you want it to be a little bit closer to the red. So the race going into river, so you have a little bit more vision, but that's fine. So what they will know is if Alistar comes down for race, fine. We know where he is. He did his blue. He came down to race. He's going to red. If Alistar doesn't show up there at around the 2-minute 30-second mark, then all of a sudden that Alistar is ganking top, and Shen's going to want to be defensive. And so that's the nice thing about the ward fast against Alistar. Udyr will have a little bit of counter jungling capabilities. However, Alistar is actually a pretty fast jungler, so we won't see that early on. We will see just a regular jungle from Udyr.
But we did see Yellow Pete and Crepo come in. We stole the blue Wraith. We're not going to have that available to us for Alistar, so he's going to be slightly behind in XP. The big chunk of the gold and XP in those camps usually come from the big name creeps. So he's going to have a little bit less to deal with. But yeah, we have not seen him down here in the warded area, so we know that he's going to be coming in to try a little bit of funny business here. And we got coming back around. We got the headbutt and pulverize. Can we get something happening here on Froggen? But Snoop is not too far behind. Here he is. He was starting to take on the Wraiths, but here he's ready to join in on this team fight. And Froggen is still level 1. Huyu is still level 1. There's only so much that they can do, and we're trying to just keep Alistar out of our business.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm just realizing the reason that they CLG put the bush or the ward in the bush as opposed to at the race. It's really common to put it at the race. Sometimes when you put it at the race, you don't get vision if we have a fast red. And so some junglers, you do wolves, blue, and then red. It gets you to level 3 and gets you double buff really quickly. Udyr came down. He actually wanted to steal the red. And so having that ward in the bush, would protect him from Alistar coming in a little bit more. He wasn't able to get off that, quick aggression, so not able to steal it, which is unfortunate. We see Crepo trying to get the, jump in onto Ezreal, but it's going to be so difficult for them to jump on him. Their real target is going to be Soraka, and once we see Leona hit 6, there's just going to be so much kill potential, and so far Orianna doing a really nice job harassing Ahri, and that's the strength of Orianna early. Once Ahri gets level 6, there's a lot of kill potential there, and Froggen wants to watch out, but getting the harass early can put her behind.
And speaking of getting harassed in early, Wicked actually got harassed extremely low, like 100 health low, while that last team fight was going on, and now we see Jax already pushed back to tower, and Shen is mobile enough to escape a fair amount of that harass.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do against Jax is, Jax primarily, he's going to leap in, obviously has a lot of burst there, but he's also going to want to get off the stun, and so if he gets off the stun, then all of a sudden you're looking at a lot more damage, and then Jax can walk out freely, and it's free harass, and free harass is how you win lanes. But, you know, with the taunt, Wicked, as long as he times it right, he can get the gradual harass on Jax, and then, you know, get out of there when he needs to. And again, this is at the point where Shen, you know, easily beats Jax in lane. As the game progresses, you know, Jax has more and more damage, and it's going to be a concern. But we'll see whether or not Shen can, you know, kind of counter that out a little bit with just really nice play from Wicked.
And, you know, we see Wicked now is looking like he's going to try and max out the Vorpal Blade first, just so we can get that extra harass and try and just trade with Jax. And it's working pretty well early on, but we do see
Alistar is top. Alistar is top, and we have the stun from Shen actually dodging out of there. He gets the taunt off, so he will be fine. And actually, Leona now coming in onto Ezreal gets off some nice burst damage. Soraka will be able to heal that up, but you see Graves and Leona didn't take a lot of damage, and that's what you want to do. When you get off your burst as Graves Leona, you don't want to take a lot, but we have Easy back once again. Wicked with the beautiful taunt time, and he will be able to get out of there. So dodging the pounce completely,
nice.
And Crepo coming in once again. Wow, the Ignite's going off, so there might be going for the kill. There it is, the attack,
we got
not
the heal.
able to do it.
We got the heal. Will be enough, though? Yes, it will. Just barely staying alive right there. We did get the heal. We only have one available to us bot lane, and Soraka trying to keep him topped off as well. So Summoner heal on Ezreal is gone for the time being. Any further harassment actually may secure that kill later on, and now we also see Hu actually going back trying to just farm up outside of lane and being harassed so much. We're going to see level 5 Vorpal Blade in just a little while, and every time Jax comes in is just blades to the face.
Yeah, and that's the concern. I mean, Vorpal Blade is obviously, it is, you know, usually what you level up first is Shen, because it's just such a strong ability. It gives you that regen that you want. It gives you the range harass, and as an energy-based champion, that's obviously one of the advantages that Shen has. So he's doing very well there, but Graves and Leona, you know, being pretty successful mid. We actually have the charm going off. Easy is back, not going to be able to engage onto Froggen, and Froggen does have good range in lane, but we have the stun onto Red Snow, and then actually the transition onto Ezreal, trying to get that damage onto Ezreal and bait out the heal.
But we see, you know, it can be very vulnerable in this lane. Try and just get that stun off. We actually do get very low in the process, but you know what? We still have this heal down on Ezreal. Any harass we can get down would be fine. You know, if you're going to be a support, you want to try and take as much damage as you can. Try and keep that heat up, but we actually get the flash in from Froggen. We got the Ignite. We'll be able
Jax
to do
is
the
coming
job.
mid as
Yes,
well, so he gets the stun and the exhaust onto Froggen. Can he pick up this kill? His cooldowns are a little bit too long right now, so he's not able to do it.
Plus the AoE slow from Orianna, keeping him behind. But yeah, good job on Froggen. The flash Ignite was enough damage to do it, and we baited out the ult at that as well. So first kill, first blood going to CLG. Going to put that on Froggen. Going to buy himself something nice. Catalyst. Pretty good call.
Yeah, and you saw Ahri actually use the ult a little bit before that kill because we had a really nice ultimate from Froggen. So Froggen was able to, you know, get Ahri very low. Ahri needs to be a little bit faster on that combo to dodge it, but if Froggen, you know, can time it appropriately, then obviously that's going to be very strong. And so, you know, if you can keep Ahri on the defensive, all of a sudden she's a completely different champion.
Right.
And, you know, if you can do that, then you can shut her down. So nice play by Froggen, the flash in for the Ignite, and then still able to get out of there. Now with the blue buff, the harass from Orianna can just be so aggressive, and she does have the ward, like you just pointed out. So she will be safe from those Alistar ganks if she shies towards that bottom side, and she can just constantly spam out her Q to get that harass onto Ahri.
And we also got a little protection top lane here. It looks like right now Caress is trying to look and push out as much as he can. Wants to be protected from Snoopay. In the event comes in and Yelpy, good job just dodging that ult outright. Just guys, you know, so we see now mTw. They're now trying to counteract the aggression by trying to be more aggressive. We see Jax offensively warding, trying to push out Wicked, not really having any of it. We see a lot of aggression coming in bot lane, and we see Ahri now also going to grab their own blue. So she'll be taking that back with her, probably looking to push that mid lane up as much as they can, try and deny Orianna some farm. But look again, CLG going for that dragon early as they can. We got 4 members down here. We should be able to take it just fine. We got the shield. We got the protection from Orianna doing all we need to, plus we got Snoop in there with Turtle Stance taking it. They should be pretty safe, but in the meantime, we do have Wicked up here top lane. We did taunt away, but the headbutt, nice flash away to avoid the pulverize, and he's going to be escaping once again. But hey, it's a dragon for CLG.
Yeah, and Shen actually, working very well against Jax. It's interesting. We expected that Shen was going to win the lane early, but being able to just taunt out whenever Jax comes in and deny a lot of that damage. You saw Jax there trying to bait out the taunt, and he knows every time that I jump in on Wicked, Wicked's going to taunt out of there. So now all of a sudden when Alistar comes in, the taunt is down, so he can't dodge it. He has to use the flash. So that might be something we see again. If Alistar comes up once again, bait out that taunt from Shen, and then allow Alistar to engage. But even so, Wicked doing a really nice job of just the constant harass onto Jax, and that's always what you want against Jax, that constant harass, and it's been working out so well.
But we did see Easy get a little bit greedy with that. We had the headbutt into the wall. When you headbutt someone, or when you try and displace someone towards a wall, the remaining movement that they would make does translate into kind of like a soft stun time. So he's waiting for that to expire to get the pulverize to maximize damage. And we got Caress. He is exhausted. He does have to flash away. When we just get a little bit more damage we need from Wicked, he's just going to tank the tower. It's going to be no big deal. We got the taunt. It doesn't miss. It does miss, but we can't get it. But the Vorpal Blade will be enough damage. But Huyu is now coming around, forcing the ult, and Wicked's actually going to ult away, try to save it, but the charm manages to get him just in time. It will cancel out the ult. He does get ignited. He's trying to taunt over a wall, see if he can get away from this. The orb doesn't get the last hit we need. Shen will be getting away.
Yeah, so really nice play by Wicked there, but we have the ult in from Crepo. They will be chasing. We have the exhaust going off, so some nice damage. The ignite is down for them, but even so, burning that exhaust from Soraka is going to be huge. And so you saw in that top lane, Wicked, he knows he's close to going down. He tries to get out of there because he recognized that Ahri was coming in. She was able to cancel out the ultimate, but really nice job there avoiding some of her damage and then, being able to get out of there with the taunt. And just really controlling that top lane. And now if Shen can control that top lane, that's when Shen becomes a monster, because when you start winning the lane, you zone out Jax from the farm, and then you have the lane advantage with the split pushing and with the teleport. And you see right now, Shen is 40 CS ahead of Jax. So 40 CS ahead of Jax at this point in the game, and he has the split pushing potential. So as the game progresses, we will be seeing really aggressive, lane play from Shen, because he knows, all right, my team, they can, be aggressive in the rest of the lanes, and I've got top lane on lockdown.
Yep, we saw him. We've got the Wits End already. We have a little bit extra damage and magic resist available to us. We're probably going to see some health stacking in the near future as well. He's just taking top lane and just running with it. There's not really a whole lot you can do, and we can see how nimble he can be to avoid those ganks. That taunt is extremely versatile, not just for engaging, but when you need to escape in a pinch, you can just go over those walls like that. It's an amazing ability. But we do see Easy is back. He is indeed back here in top lane. We do not see him, but we got the headbutt kind of displacing him a little bit further away. We do have the pulverize. We do have the exhaust. Are we going to go in on this? Yes, we are. Who is taking the tower? Caress is.
Oh, Caress, you needed to back out. He will be okay.
We still got time. So.
Unfortunately, though, Soraka had to use the ultimate. And so if Caress had just waited a step back, allowed Alistar to tank, then he could jump back in for the kill. But they were able to get the kill, so obviously, it is to their advantage.
But
and
he's
now
going to have to go back, though.
Right.
He's going to have to go back.
But at the same time, he's pushed into the tower, so he's denying Shen that experience. And then when he comes back, the lane will be pushed back to his side. And we're starting to see that burst from Shen. So even though he's 40 CS behind Shen, he still has just a lot of burst damage if he can keep Shen stationary. And the issue is the mobility of Shen. Shen's mobility, usually he can avoid some of that damage, but we'll start to see whether or not that lane starts to maybe shift gears a little bit.
Yeah, but it is unfortunate. If Alistar was taking that tower, we could have seen Jax just walk behind the tower, take out the creeps before he even got to the tower, keep the lane pushed, keep all of those creeps denied, but because we didn't, Wicked is now back in the lane. Creeps are now back in the middle of the lane. Isn't going to go ahead and just start farming up again. You keep increasing that creep lead. He's still doubling them up right now.
Yeah, but it is going to push into the tower, so Jax is going to get a farming opportunity there. And, you know, Wicked's not going to be able to deny him when he's under the tower. We do see that Krepo's been doing a pretty good job of holding out with here, but we actually have Alistar coming in, and then Krepo, unfortunately, goes to the back line of Soraka after Alistar is behind him, so there is the quick kill.
Yeah.
And it was just the timing. That's like the most embarrassing timing ever. So he's throwing in his taunt to jump onto Soraka, and Alistar comes in at the exact same time, and he has to be sitting there in the air from the pulverized like, oh, dear God, let me stop. I take it all back.
Wait, sometimes when we have skills like that go off simultaneously, weird, strange things do happen, and that is one of the unfortunate things. We had both those skills go out at the same time. The animation had to finish because it did connect, but Alistar at the same time was doing his combo. So, you know, we do have the position adjustment and the stun and
but we
the
do have
resulting kill.
Alistar with the headbutt
skills like that.
taunt, and there's actually the pulverize into the stun from Caress, and he is chasing Wicked. Wicked doesn't have enough damage to turn around on him, so once we have another jump, there will be a nice chunk of damage, and now Caress taking back a little bit more of that lane. However, there is obviously the regen from Shen, so he will be okay there. But we'll have to see, you know, whether or not he has enough burst, because he's very close to going down. If we get another stun from Jax, then very quickly he could drop, and we do not have summoners for either of them, so just the flashes, so no offensive summoners. But in the meantime, Orianna and Leona are coming in for this dragon. Now, Orianna has a lot of damage, while Leona can tank it with the shield, and they don't even need a jungler, though obviously Snoopy will be there shortly.
Yep, Snoopy's going to be coming here. We already started Dragon for you. It's already halfway done. We just need you guys here to help finish it up quickly, and there it goes. So Dragon number 2 going to CLG real quick once again. So it's just increasing the goal lead even further. Total about 3K up at the moment. We do have the charm going in on Frog, but it's not going to be doing too much. We're not going to capitalize on it. And just look at the wave clearing capabilities right now on Frog. It's really no big deal. Wicked trying to get away. We got the shield up, but we see Crest now getting extremely aggressive. We do have quite a bit of damage available to us. We got the Merc Treads. We want to be a little bit more protected here in lane. We haven't started getting up any of our burst damage. We have no Phage, no Sheen just quite yet because, well, we've been out farmed, quite frankly, top lane here so far.
Yeah, but he is starting to take control back in that lane, and he has enough damage to take down Shen right now. Obviously, when he's low mana, he's not going to be able to take it, but even so, he's catching up a little bit on farm. You know, he hasn't fallen any further behind, and now being even levels with Shen, he might start taking control of that lane. We'll have to see. He does grab just a couple of Dorans, so he's got the Merc Treads that'll help keep him safe a little bit, and then he has a nice bit of burst damage. So, it is a very aggressive lane. We do have this Graves. Leona has been working very well for them bot, though Ezreal has been playing very well against it as well and farming evenly with Graves.
Yeah, so we're stacking the Dorans. We want a little bit extra health and damage. We just want to stay in lane longer than we have before previously. We also do have the Vamp Scepter, so it may be a clue that we may see Jax get a Wriggles pretty soon, so it'll help them later on in Baron if they ever decide to actually go down and grab a dragon for themselves, if they can manage to get it before CLG does. But now we see bot lane continuing to push Wicked. Now we see the dash away not doing as much to try and mitigate the damage because we've gained a few levels. Jax has leveled up the skills. We have a little bit more damage, so now we're starting to evenly trade. We got the ult from Ezreal once again. Both members of CLG down bottom. Wisely dodge it. And just going to go ahead, keep pushing, but back off for now. Froggen in mid, actually also pushing up pretty far ahead. We see the orb trying to zone out Ahri as much as we can. It's like, if you come in here, we're going to slow you, we're going to do a whole lot of damage to you. You might not want to consider it.
Yeah, and the nice thing, we actually have Udyr coming up into this top lane, so Shen does have some nice kill potential. It's going to be tough for them to take him down, but with the red buff, Snoopy can maybe do it. The flash from Shen in order to get that taunt, and now we have the exhaust onto Snoopy. He will have the next minion wave, so he can jump to a minion once again, and now Snoopy still tower diving. Jax probably could have turned back onto that and try and fight him underneath the tower a little bit, but he will be safe getting out of there, and Shen, has the lane to himself once again.
Yeah, well, we got our ward down over by mTw's blue, so when it does respawn, we will know. We'll be there about it, and we'll see. We may actually be able to catch out Huyu trying to grab it. So we'll see if that actually results in an upcoming gank. But, despite all that harass, Wicked is just still here top lane farm, and we actually managed to get quite a bit of damage here on Crest to force him to back once again. And I don't believe we actually really bought anything that trip back. Still got a little bit of gold available to us. We didn't really have a whole lot to buy with.
Yeah, but I mean, he does have a lot of items right now. You know, the damage output that he has, the attack speed on Wit's End works very well with Shen. So, you know, for lane control, that's nice. The big thing that I'm noticing right now, you know, obviously we've had the Rod of Ages on Orianna for a while. Actually, Easy is back, coming in, going to try and steal this. He can drop a ward. Does he have a ward? No, he doesn't have a ward.
He's just waiting.
Just waiting. And actually, the pounce onto Orianna. Ari's going to come in here. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough damage, but they do have a lot of burst. The Shen ult coming in, and now Shen is going to get the nice taunt. We will have the Froggen ultimate coming in shortly. It's actually already used, but with the red buff on Udyr, they can chase down Alistar, pick up that kill.
A little bit of a fail flash there on Easy. Tried to flash over the wall to get back to the river, but just could not make it happen. You fail the flash, you're going to die, and that's what happens. We tried to get the blue off of Froggen. We tried to get that jump on him, but just didn't work out. And the Shen ult, he can be wherever he needs to be, and just, hey, he's already back up in top lane. And nice little wave to farm off of too once we start getting over to tower.
Yeah, and one of the concerns, we actually have Leona coming in at the Ahri bottom. There is the flash out, going to be able to get out of there. Krepo dodging the charm, so that would have stunned him underneath the tower, and that would have been horrible. The flash out from Leona probably didn't need to use it, but was very close to going down, so obviously, wanted to get out of there fast. But one of the things Jack's coming down as well, so maybe they want to fight this. No, he's going to be fine. But I was going to say one of the things that's interesting to watch is Graves has the Bloodthirster versus the Sheen on Ezreal. And so Ezreal has a little bit more burst, but in team fights, Graves is just going to be so vastly superior to Ezreal at this point in the game, having that sustained damage, and then obviously the Bloodthirster for his abilities. So that is going to be difficult. Ezreal already not as much of an auto attacker as Graves is. But if CLG can win these mid-game fights, which is what they want with their kind of AoE team, we can start seeing some objectives go down, and they're probably going to start grouping up and taking objectives at this point. This is like around the point where their team is just like really strong and starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, man, we want to see Ezreal really contribute to the burst potential here on mTw, because like we said before, we have Jax, we have Ahri, we can just go in, focus down on one target, and do boatloads of damage if we really want to. But we do have the ward. We do see the Easy's here. We know Ahri's around. We just don't have exact position on where. We see the effects of the abilities, so we do know that Ahri has grabbed blue. Froggen actually got the double buff for himself too, so we got another ward going down just making sure, because we did see, we had an inkling that Jax was coming by. Jax did leave top lane, so we may see him come by again. That's what that ward over there in the river's for. But we now also have bot tower down for mTw. CLG went ahead, pushed it down. A little bit extra global goal for themselves, but we may, Krepo, you may want to get back soon. Was going to find you in the bush. He does get stunned in there. Yellow Pete are going to be able to get there in time just to do a little bit extra damage, but no, we do have the flash away. We'll be getting the safety. But Alistar here in mid, Froggen, headbutt, pulverize, keeping you stunned there for a second. Who you are you going to get the charm? Are we going to get something we need? Charm a little bit too late. We actually grab a minion with it. Froggen is safe for now. Jax is still in the neighborhood. Shen pushing it top lane for the time being. And we also have Snoopy here. We saw the ward go down. We knew it was there, but Dragon is up, and mTw might actually be able to get this one this time.
Yeah, so we do have the potential for the Shen ult in. That is something CLG, they're being kind of aggressive, want to stall them out, and Shen is ulting in onto Udyr. They're coming onto mTw Caress. There's the exhaust as well, but he is perfectly fine, and there's not a lot of damage going off into mTw, but there's the Orianna ult, followed up by Graves for the AoE, and now Alistar is out of position. He will go down as well, and they can chase. Froggen trying to slow them down. Won't be able to get off that slow, but then the taunt from Wicked, able to pick up Who You. And there's just nice. The AoE combo of their fights. Ezreal out of position here. He's going to try and escape, but they are on the hunt.
They're on the hunt. We got the orb from Orianna onto Snoopy. We're able to relocate it, get the damage we need. Flash away just to make sure we're safe. We do not want to give away that buff, and there we go. Wa also goes down. Says a 4 for nothing. And the Dragon went down as Dragon was still up. CLG can still go grab it for themselves.
And so now here's the thing that we saw with CLG. They're when they get their combo with all their AoEs, if they get enough people, and they had a ton of people right in the middle of it, they can just disintegrate mTw.
Oh, crap, don't die. Okay.
They can just destroy mTw, and that's what they have here. Graves actually coming in for the aggressive red steal. Soraka and Alistar kind of nearby, so he will want to watch out. He's just going to dash over the wall.
Yeah.
But they can destroy them with their AoE. However, with the Soraka ults, with the Alistar, his survivability, with the mobility of Ezreal, Ahri, and Jax, if they can bait out the AoEs, then mTw all of a sudden wins the long distance fights, and they can say, okay, you use your ultimates. Ahri dodges with her ultimate. Jax, leaps out of there or is just kiting around per usual, and then they win those sustained fights. So that's something that CLG wants to be careful about, but you saw that fight. For a long time, they were holding onto their ultimates, just positioning the entire time until they saw the perfect opportunity, and then they went for it.
And they also had the perfect positioning as well, because mTw, they were stuck over there
but
in the Dragon
Jax,
Caress.
We do have Snoopé is here. He gets off the stun, and then the flash as well, but there's the Leona ultimate, going to be able to pick up this kill with the slow. He jumps to a ward. Unfortunately, it is not enough.
Nope.
And so a kill going down for CLG.
But everyone's top lane, so right now mTw is trying to shove mid the best they can, but here comes...
But the issue is Soraka and Ezreal are bot, and so not only is it a 4v5 advantage for CLG right now, but they know that they're not even going to defend Baron. So it's a free Baron, it's uncontested. At this point, Udyr is low on mana, so there's maybe a little bit of a threat there, but they know they're just too weak. They don't want to go in on these fights. So CLG is just so strong with the fights right now, and mTw is just a little bit scared.
Right, so mTw, they accepted the fact that they were at Baron, and you saw the attempt from Watt to try and steal with the ultimate, and a little bit of a Hail Mary. Just hey, you never know, they might actually be able to get it, and we have the forced ult here from Ahri because of the positioning of Udyr, and he's actually still coming around. We got the charm coming in, we got Easy's back is close by, we actually headbutt him away. What is also still nearby? Can we actually burst Nube down? No, because look at that huge shield coming in from both Shen and Orianna together, and What is now being focused down once again. Pretty close to the same place he got killed last time.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Ezreal didn't get out of there sooner. He was pushing down that second tower. If we actually check how low it is, I think he was trying to finish it because he was really sitting around, so it's pretty low. Yeah. But he had plenty of time to get out of there. I think he thought that his team was going to go a little bit further south, so he was like, Ahri, what are you doing? You brought them up to me. I was going to be fine. So he was kind of caught out of position there. And we actually have the surrender. So mTw just felt so threatened that game. They never really got their game plan going. CLG just in complete control the entire time. And so CLG 2-0ing